what's going on? Just want to give my thoughts on Keyon Brooks Jr. deciding to return for his sophomore season. His father just informed Cat's Paws of this last night or whenever they did their interview with him. And my initial thoughts are this is huge news and I'm really excited about it. This is the first player from the 2019-20 team from this past season to decide to return for next season. Keyon Brooks Jr. throughout his freshman season, he averaged 4.5 points per game and grabbed about 3 rebounds per game. During the season, I really think Keyon Brooks was really looking for his identity. There was games where he was irrelevant and did not score at all, and you could just tell he looked a little bit out of it. But then there were games where he was contributing, and not only contributing, but honestly playing an integral role on the team. Just to name a few of his really good games throughout the season, he had 15 points and 5 rebounds against Fairleigh Dickinson. He had 10 points and 4 rebounds against Georgia Tech at a game that I was at, actually. He also had a really good game at Arkansas where he scored 10 points and grabbed 7 rebounds. His best game of the season, in my opinion, was at Florida in the last game of the year where he scored 10 huge points and grabbed 3 rebounds. He had 2 3-pointers, had a great floating shot from the baseline area where a guy was trying to take a charge, but he was able to float around him and still put it in. And then by the end of that game, we were actually going to Keyon Brooks for baskets. One, he ended up giving it to us in the lane, and he just about gave us the game-winning layup at the end there if it didn't roll out, but EJ ended up tipping it in. That just shows right there, Keyon was showing signs of his freak athleticism and how good he could really be in really small glimpses, and sometimes in an entire game, but mostly in like one play here and there. One play in particular was against Eastern Kentucky where he had an impressive rebound into a slam dunk putback. That's just one play there are just so many plays that you're going to see that he can be. That's one of his strengths. Out of his strengths that I think are major strengths for Keyon Brooks are his athleticism and his size. You can't teach size or athleticism. You can work on it in the offseason, but you really ultimately cannot teach that. And Keyon Brooks has freak athleticism. I think one of his best attributes as a basketball player, just based upon his freshman season, was his ability to read shots off the glass and off the rim for rebounds. I can name 2 instances right now, like the one I seen before where he had the putback dunk against Eastern Kentucky. At Arkansas, Johnny Juzang was driving down the lane and floated it up and it hit off the rim, but Keyon was right there and put it right back in perfectly. There were other instances where he was able to get good position and rebound, and a guy like him, 6'7", with a really long wingspan, that can prove really a big deal on rebounding and on defense. Defensively, I think he could probably be better. There were times he could not guard his man, but just due to his size and I think how fast he could eventually be if he really puts together and really works hard in the offseason, he could be a great defender. I really think he could be. He also had a career-high 9 rebounds at Tennessee, which that just shows, again, I think his rebounding can be a major skill. And there were games where he didn't score, but he still grabbed rebounds. I think he had 7 rebounds against South Carolina in that loss where they hit the buzzer beater. I think that's obviously one of his best things. There's just so many things that he was just barely giving us a glimpse of how good he could actually be, which makes me really excited going forward. It's always nice getting guys back. And then I think areas he could really improve this offseason and really just for the next season in his sophomore campaign is his shooting ability. Overall, from the field, he shot 47.2% overall, and he shot just below 30% from the 3-point range on a very limited amount of shots. I knew coming into college he could shoot, and just looking at his form, you can just tell it's a beautiful shot, and he's a good jump shooter for a 6'7" guy. Now, he's not consistent enough, but he can be a really good jump shooter, because those threes he made, they didn't just bank in, they swished in really, really well. And I think another thing he could really improve upon for next season, which anyone can improve from year to year, is just limiting mistakes. I mean, no one can be perfect, but there were plays he was making where he was making freshman mistakes. We're used to having freshmen come in here that play above themselves and don't play like a normal freshman. But there were plays that he made really, really typical freshman mistakes, like fouling someone 94 feet away from the other team's basket. I remember that happening against Vanderbilt. And I think just overall for Keyon, the biggest thing I think he could really focus on this offseason that I think could be scary for anyone else in college basketball next season is if he can just become more confident. I think that comes for anyone from season to season, but if Keyon Brooks can just add strength in the offseason and just improve and start to become a leader next year and gain more confidence, he has a whole year under his belt now in his freshman season at Kentucky. If Keyon Brooks plays with confidence, he could be a very scary threat or weapon to be used against any team at any time. Obviously, this is huge news going into next season. I'm really excited about this. This is such huge news. I always love when we get guys to come back. And I think Keyon Brooks has the ability to be a major X factor for next year's team. Not just one of the best players, but possibly the best player if he really puts it together and works hard this offseason. Another thing he really brings to the team is his energy. I remember the play against Auburn at Rupp Arena. He had a huge dunk and yelled and got everyone fired up. That is just something you cannot teach and something that becomes so valuable in March. When guys are playing with energy and sparking guys off the bench, sparking starters, just getting the crowd involved, that is so huge. And I think that's something that could just really lead to a really deep run in March and just winning a lot of games overall. But yeah, this is really a big deal. I really think Keyon Brooks has the ability to possibly make a jump from his freshman to sophomore year like a PJ Washington. I'm not saying he's going to make the same jump. He definitely has the ability to make that kind of a jump. And I really am looking for Keyon Brooks to add some strength in the offseason, work on his shot, become a better all-around basketball player, there and just gaining confidence. If he does all that stuff, he could be a really scary thing for a lot of teams in college basketball. And I'm nothing but excited about this. Really happy for Keyon to decide to come back. And now our roster for next season is 7 players with a 6th incoming freshman, and now you add in Keyon Brooks to the mix. Hopefully this sparks some other guys to maybe decide to come back too. We're starting to put together our roster here. We got 7 total. This is huge news about Keyon Brooks Jr. coming back for his sophomore season. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this news. I'm really excited about it. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated with more player news to come. Stay tuned for a lot of videos and stuff to come out. I have some videos already finished, just waiting to put them out. And obviously the reaction stuff will be coming soon too. So thanks for being subscribed and thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Go Big Blue. Effing Brooks!